In today's quick video, we're going to talk with the absolute flint knapping artist here, Justin Cook, and about his involvement with the E.C.O survival group. That's coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose, your home for information and gear reviews related to camping, survival, and general preparedness for regular folks. My name is Brian. Thanks for joining me. I'm here with Justin Cook. Justin, thanks for taking time.
Hey, Brian, thanks.
Thank you. We're here at the E.C.O survival group inaugural event here just east of Atlanta. And Justin came up from Pensacola, but he is absolutely a flint knapper, primitive type skills artist. I mean, if you just, we'll take a look at in a minute some of some of his work, but we just finished a flint knapping class, and I learned so much just about what, you see people doing it on different videos and TV and stuff. You think, man, looks so complicated, and it's not a simple skill, but you really didn't do a good job of, I think, showing how it's not rocket science either. It's just a matter of just
right.
knowing knowing a few facts about the physics of stone, I guess, really.
Right. Yeah. When it comes to flint knapping, you've got a rock that breaks in a predictable manner. It breaks like glass, and you exploit that knowledge and adjust the stone and your swing to remove the flakes that you need. And of course, every flake that you take off is a tool. But it's something I've been doing for 15 years now, and it's more than just something I do. It's an art, and it's my art, and it's my passion, and it's my hobby, and it in a way it connects me to our primitive ancestors. We all had primitive ancestors that knapped flint at some time, whether you're Native American or European, and experiencing that connection is just something that's really amazing.
So you have to tell us a little bit about earlier how you kind of got started doing this. Can you
Sure.
kind of recount that? How does somebody who is I think you were raised on a farm, so
yep.
you're pretty familiar with modern tools and stuff. How does it get to where now you kill a couple of deers now with flint arrows? Right?
The way this came about was ever since I was a little kid, I've always been fascinated by the arrowheads we find in fields, and ever since I was a little kid, I grew up hunting and fishing. So kind of put the two and two together, and I grew up hunting, and I hunted with a rifle. Started hunting with a rifle, and a compound bow, and then a recurve bow, and then I wanted to make my own gear. I wanted to make my own arrowheads. I wanted to make my own arrows. I wanted to make my own bow. About 15 years ago, I started flint knapping, and it really was just an awesome experience doing that. The satisfaction that you get from making your own hunting tools, your own weapons, to take two rocks and maybe a piece of bone and make something that you can go out and provide for your family, feed yourself, is just really awesome. It's also it connects you to history in a way that's kind of hard to describe, because all of our ancestors knapped flint at some time. I don't care what continent you're from or what your heritage is. At some time or another, you had ancestors that were relying on stone tools for their livelihood. And we find these artifacts, we see these artifacts in museums, and we find them in the fields and stuff. And for me to look at that and study it and be like, I know how to make that, or I know what this fracture means, or this was broken from, it's got a big impact fracture on it. So like this piece was actually thrown at an animal, and you learn what you're looking at, and it's just really cool because it's a real subtle knowledge, and since I've started, I've gotten pretty good at it. I've got universities and museums that will contact me, and they want work, they want some examples, they want some hands-on material, or they want a demonstration, and that's just such an honor to know that people appreciate that, and specifically request me.
And you were like, if I remember right, on some TV show, right?
Yeah. In 2015, my wife and I got selected to participate on Men, Women, Wild, They sent us to Senja Island, Norway for 21 days. The premise of the show was anything you can fit into a small duffel bag, and it was a small duffel bag, and you had to survive for 21 days by living off the land. And we had a map, and we had an insertion point and an extraction point we had to navigate to. So it was quite the experience. It was a brutal experience.
Yeah, but you obviously survived. So
we actually did really well. The weather was miserable. It was like 40 degrees every day. It rained on us 17 out of 21 days. We were pinned down in some real nasty storms, like sideways snow and sleet, and we didn't eat much of anything other than just like some ferns and some plants that we foraged for the first 7-8 days before we were finally able to get out there and do some fishing. But after we got out and did some fishing, we caught a lot, smoked them, preserved them, and then the remaining 10 days or so that we had left was pretty okay, because we had a sack of smoked fish, and we didn't have to worry about going out and getting food, and we could actually just kind of relax.
Did you do any flint knapping while you were there?
I did. I took a takedown bow with me. That fit in the bag, and I made arrows, and I made some points, and I tried hunting. But what I found was that when you're in a situation, when you really are in a survival situation, if you're putting calories out and not getting calories back, then you're losing. And after 2 or 3 days of sitting out in the cold and hunting with no game, you don't have the energy, and you don't have the reserves to spare, if you will, because you go sit perfectly still out in the woods, get rained on, stay cold. It costs you calories, and if you don't bring something home, then you're at a deficit for tomorrow. So we didn't kill anything, but I did do some flint knapping.
That's cool. One thing I learned in your flint knapping class this morning, because if you want to show us, have a look real quick at these arrowheads and stuff, is that these are beautiful examples of.
These are arrowheads I've all made, a variety of materials from across the United States. You got materials from.
You get it without the glare. That's gonna be tough for it, but
we got materials from Mississippi all the way to Texas, and even some glass in there.
But really and truly, in a survival situation, this is not what you're looking for. Pretty much, this is what you're looking for, or maybe a little bigger.
That's right. These are complex projectile points and knives. They are definitely useful, and they have intended purposes, but the first thing that you need in a survival situation, especially if we're talking primitive survival, is an edge, and that edge is just a simple flake. I cannot improve on the sharpness.
Yeah, that's just a small one, but you can see.
And I can't improve in the
sharp right there.
sharpness or cutting ability of that flake. It's just it breaks naturally sharp. So when it comes to flint knapping, I think a lot of people they see these fine refined points, and they think, man, that's hard. I can't get to that level, or that's going to take a lot of time and effort and energy and learning to get to that level. But in reality, you don't have to be at that level. Basically, all you need to do is be able to strike a flake off, provide yourself with a cutting edge to complete the next task at hand, which is pretty much fire, and then maybe fiber.
Yeah. And reality is, that's if you're caught in the woods without a knife, which means right off the bat you're an idiot. But
right, yeah,
but
totally.
But it's what I thought was pretty cool is just literally took 2 rocks, banged them together, and within like 15 seconds he starts cutting on a piece of wood with a flake of rock, which is it kind of shows you sometimes we tend to overcomplicate things.
Absolutely, yeah. It's your immediate needs are basically water and shelter, and stop burning your calories. You know, conserve your energy. I think when it comes to survival, we all have this idea of, you know, we got to go out and like build this Taj Mahal in the woods, and you know that's not necessarily true. Well, it's not true at all. You just need to basically thermoregulate and hydrate.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for taking time,
Hey,
Justin. How if
thanks,
somebody
man.
wants to get in touch with we know the E.C.O Survival Group is the website and Facebook page, but you've got your own site. Somebody's
Right.
interested in flint knapping stuff.
I do. You can find me at waybackwilderness.net. That's my personal website. And then on Facebook, I'm an admin for Bushcraft Survival Tribe, and I strongly encourage you to join that group. It's one of the best bushcraft groups on Facebook, and yeah, I'm easy to find.
Cool. Well, thanks again for taking time.
Hey, thank you.
And thank you for watching Survival on Purpose. I put out a brand new video every Friday and Saturday, very often random videos throughout the week. Click right over here and watch another one. If you're not subscribed, please click down there in the corner and do that. I really appreciate it. Once again, my name's Brian. You're watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival is not an accident. Be prepared. I'll see you next time.